Let's do it. Another episode of Just Jossin Around with Megan Malone today.
Hey.
Hello, Megan. Thank you for agreeing to do this. I honestly wasn't sure if you were going to be alive for this episode.
Me neither.
You recently went skydiving.
I did. Yeah. Sunday.
I'm not going to lie. I did not know that I feel like now that I say this, you can go skydiving anywhere. But I immediately when you said that, I was like, they have skydiving in Nebraska? And then I was like, that's kind of dumb. But
It was not on my never do list, so I never looked into it. I don't Jones after it, and had I known the plane we were going up in before, these are widowmakers. There was when we were going up in the plane, I could see insulation peeling off, like the little screws were shaking, and
that's scary.
Yeah, and this is psychotic, but. My guy who was training me, he was like, are you okay? And he's like, because normally people's breathing speeds up. They start chattering a lot. And he's like, you're suspiciously calm. And I was like, no, bro, I am in shark mode. I found that out about myself. When it's panic times, I just zone in. And I was just like, here we go. And then, so we do it. I will say though, they make you jump, but if they didn't, that was when the fold. You swing your feet out of the plane and you look down and everything in your body is don't do that.
Yeah.
Definitely don't do that. And then I really felt like my gifts of disassociation from years of open mic kicked in. Because I really do feel like I was out of because my body's bitch, she did.
Yeah.
The soul's got to go. Let this meat sack fall. Yeah.
That's really scary. It kind of, when you were talking about just looking over with your feet, I got a little nauseous.
It was, because you're 2 miles up. And
oh my gosh, that sounds, I don't know. That's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. And, but I did wait until we got all the way to the ground and we landed. And the guy's like, how are you feeling? And I was like, good. I just thought I'd wait to tell you until we landed that this is the anniversary of my grandfather being paralyzed in a small plane crash when he was exactly my age. And he just looked at me like, yeah, I'm glad you kept that to yourself. It's thought we'd roll the dice on the old family legacy. I kind of hope that haunts him. He was like, no, she was psycho calm. And then she told me this mind-bending shit when we landed.
It's really funny, actually. Oh my God. No, I'm glad you're here. And I'm glad we're doing this episode together. For people who can see the visual, the eyebrows. I'm sorry, I have to address them. No, I'm literally heartbroken right now, and my face is fucked for the next, 3 weeks probably.
Is that how fast your eyebrows grow, though?
3 weeks. 3 weeks. I like to get them cleaned up every 2 weeks. And
wow.
Cleaned up. I'm talking a strip down the middle, a strip underneath. And this lady botched my shit so bad. I don't even know. I tipped her $10 too. It was nothing. I have no backbone.
Yeah, it's the thank you officer energy.
That made me laugh so hard because getting arrested. Thank you.
And you're like, don't say thank you. Don't say
thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for working.
Well, I have to say your eyebrows are iconic. Definitely an iconic feature.
It's a part of me.
And I would always be like, God, this shape is incredible.
She fucked with it.
Sort of perfectly looking microbladed from the exact.
That's what I'm talking about.
If the TikTok filter goes on you, you're like, it's here, here, and here. She's hitting all the high points.
Yep.
And you are making it work. Do not be when you she's posting full makeup photos, it looks good. Yeah, but as someone who knew the prior shape.
Yes.
I was a little offended.
I was offended. And then what's crazy is after, so she holds the mirror up and I go, damn, those are far apart. I was like, those are really far apart. And so she just starts explaining to me. She's like, well, and mind you, before when I came in, she was like, are we shaping today? I was like, we are not shaping.
Inappropriate.
We're not
Flag
shaping.
on the play.
I said, we're cleaning up, please. And here's the worst part of it. Well, okay, I'm embarrassed to say, listen, I go to Supercuts. Here's why. I know. But I only go to one.
You and Tyler Walsh. That's what company you're in. He told me, I just let her choose. She's an artiste. I was like, I don't know if you go to Supercuts to be an artiste.
Yeah. No, and you know what? The answer is you don't. And I don't trust Supercuts, well, especially now. But there was one specifically in Lincoln. There was a guy who worked there, and I've been going to him, like, since I moved there.
Okay.
And I trust him, and it's like I get a good deal.
And you're going every 2 weeks.
Yep. It's like we had a relationship. So then... about to go to Des Moines, I'm like, oh, I would feel really good to have them done before I left. And I walk in, he's busy with someone. He's like, oh, it's fine. There's like a girl in the back. Like, well, I was like, oh yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. No, it was not fine. I cried in the car.
I would. And not that they're that bad. It's just that you had the most iconic, like if you were going to draw a picture of a modern eyebrow, it would have been Jaws' eyebrow.
And then what made me mad was, so like my friend calls me, like I post on TikTok, I'm screaming. My friend FaceTimes me. I'm crying. She's laughing. She thinks this is so funny. I'm like, it is funny. Now it is. But it was not funny.
No, yeah.
It wasn't. I like went into Ulta. I drove immediately to an Ulta crying to the lady. Crying.
Well, and I mean, I think in an effort to not be a pain in the ass, I've definitely done that where you're just like, yeah, whatever's available. I'll just float downstream. Or sure, the lady in the back who just tried waxing for the first time.
No, let her rip.
Yeah, put it right next to my eye. Put that hot wax right on there.
It was so painful too. Another thing that pisses me off about like eyebrow waxing too was that she had waxed the strip. After you wax, no more plucking. You pluck before. You do a pre-pluck, you wax, you leave me alone. But if you wax and it's sensitive, and she just was going at it with the tweezers, and I felt like something was wrong, especially on this eyebrow, because she was really plucking. I was like, there's no way there's that much hair. Like I really don't need this waxing.
Was there any burn?
Oh yeah, like the skin was like scorched off underneath, and it was like when she put the aloe on, it hurt so bad because she had just fucked my shit up.
I don't do this bit anymore, but this exact thing happened to my vagina.
Oh my, okay, ow.
New waxer. And you're Italian, so you know. Yes. I mean, like, as much hair is on my head, it needs taming. And this woman was ripping and re-ripping and then going in with tweezers and trying again. And she left me sitting there with my cooch out for a whole episode of Say Yes to the Dress before she came in. Which is aggressive. You know, you're just like, oh, the abusive mom's going to tell her she hates this dress again. Like, let me out of here. So, and I had done it because there was an occasion. I wanted to go to the beach. Yeah. Not with, like, looking like I just caught something.
Yeah.
I could not wear underwear for days.
Oh, my gosh.
So my response, like, you know how, like, you get in your mind and you're just like,
yeah, you started.
So I was sitting at a stoplight on West Maple. I know the exact light. And I was like, let me check the damage. Like a sociopath. I'm in a Honda. I pull up my leg and I just look and I'm just shaking my head. Oh. And you know when you have like that feeling on the back of your neck, like I'm being watched. I look over my shoulder and there's a guy in an SUV who's just locked it. And he's just got like ooh. And I don't know if it was because it was just like vagina in the wild.
Yes.
Or if it was because it did not look how he had hoped. And this is so tragically true. We had to be at the next 2 stoplights next to each other. Yeah. There was nowhere to turn off. So I turned off the first place that I could turn into, which was in an Arby's. Into an Arby's roast beef.
Let's go.
I was like, it's Tuesday at 10 a.m. and
it's a lot for a
full
Tuesday.
Humiliation. Yeah.
This is also a Tuesday at 10 a.m. Very different Tuesdays.
And there's an Arby's nearby.
I fuck up an Arby's.
Oh, me too.
I love an Arby's.
I get a double and an Arnold Palmer too regularly.
I love that. Wait, I feel like the last time you were here, you talked about getting Arby's on the way out. Did it happen?
Yes.
Congratulations.
What is your order?
I go chicken sandwich.
Okay.
They make a mean chicken sandwich, but I haven't had it in a while, and yeah, maybe I gotta stop hitting this table. But yeah, I do wanna. Maybe we should go lunch break. Check it out. Maybe we'll run into that guy. He's just hanging out in a parking lot waiting.
Oh man,
maybe I'll catch
love
another.
forever marrying the image of my bird vagina with their
That's so painful.
stacked roast beef.
But honestly, like I'm trying. Like right now, I'm holding the odds. Like what is more painful? Like going to just get it waxed and botched, or the pains of having to do it yourself.
I couldn't do it. I know I can't do it myself. I can't wax my own vag.
Well, not wax, but like even like shaving, it's still like
Yeah.
I hate this.
Yeah.
I hate it.
How many things do we have to do? Also, I think you could get like one of those brow pens and put like a couple extra flicks.
I know,
and then
it would be fine. Which I do have a brow pen. Oh God, I just hate it.
Because the flick you got with the eyeliner wing is telling me that
I can do it. I can do it. I'll work on it. I was so hurt, and I was being gaslit too because this had happened, and Lauren was like, "They don't even look bad." I was like, "All right,
they don't look bad, but you have to know prior Joslyne because they just don't look as like.
No,
it would be if I was going to draw a picture of Joslyne in Pictionary, the brows would be a part of it.
It was. Honestly, and I felt so bad for the Ulta workers too, because I walked in and I was crying, red face, and then like one of the ladies like, "Hey, like, how's it going?" And I just go, I'm hyperventilating because I'm dramatic, but I'm like, I'm having a 911,
This is their ministry. Don't feel bad for the Ulta ladies. They're like, yes, God called me to this mall.
Yes, and the one girl, her name was Angie. I have her Instagram. She was like fixing my stuff up, and like I just was complaining about like everything, and I was like, this is reminding me of like when I was like young, I had big eyebrows. Like I remember like a guy I had a crush on like in like elementary was like, "You look like a dog," because of my eyebrows. And so I was like, "Mom, we have to go get them."
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
No.
It's trendy now, but back in the early 2000s, not trendy.
No, Emily Knowles reached over and we were in the pool and rubbed my unibrow, and she was like, "You need to take care of that." I must have been in like 4th grade. I still remember it. And remember you, Emily Knowles.
Yeah, let's pull up her Facebook and harass her. But yes. But no, my mom took me to a nail salon to get my eyebrows done, and sperm cells. I was rocking that.
You know what? That trend on where they are shaving off the ends of their eyebrows.
Yes.
I think you should double down and just go full Hitler stash on the eyebrows.
Megan, I want to. I'm trying to pull hose out here. That is not how you're gonna. I'm not attracting anything with shaving that
You're
off.
in your fuck bitches get money era.
No, I'm in my cry over bitches and be broke era.
We're gonna pull out of this nosedive.
Maybe just one flat iron curl at a time. Just getting myself out of the trenches. I know. Honestly, I debated bringing my flat iron here for this episode.
I had a hunch. I was like, is she gonna bring it?
Honestly, I'm kind of regretting it now because a live tutorial would have been super fun.
We can still do this. We see each other all the time.
I know.
Let's do it.
We'll do it. We'll do it. I loved doing your hair. It was very fun. Even though, like, I was like, you remind me of my mom. Like, I trauma dumped just a little bit.
It's okay. Yeah. No. Having worked in the service industry, I'm used to the trauma.
You're like, it's fine. Let me have it. Especially working in, like, bars and stuff. You sign yourself up for it.
Yeah.
It's like, here's your cocktail. Why did your wife leave you?
This is going to be totally worth the $5 I get at the end of this.
I know. Especially because, like, I sometimes work at the brewery in Lincoln Saturday mornings, and someone will come in, and it's like I'm subjecting myself to an hour-long conversation, and they're like, here's $2. And I'm like, okay, well.
And the people who wake up on a Saturday and go to a bar
is unhinged.
Not the coolest.
I remember working, like, one of my first bar jobs. Yeah, we opened at 7 a.m.
Gross.
Because I know. And just watching someone slam, like, a PBR coffee, which, I mean, those do kind of hit, but...
I've never had... Is it... So you just chase the PBR with a coffee?
It's a actual... They make it together. Like, it sounds kind of gnarly, but it's really good. It sounds... Yeah.
It's like a poor man's vodka Red Bull.
Yeah. I love vodka Red Bulls.
I know you do. You're going to be, in 10 years, you'll be espresso martini gal.
This is the trajectory. Be that now.
It's PBR coffee, vodka Red Bull, espresso martini.
I want to be a martini
Uppers and
girl.
downers. It's the speedball baby. Let's go.
Those sound good. When we were in Des Moines, I think it was a dirty martini for the first time. Olive juice and vodka. Mm-hmm. Very good.
Yeah.
Very delicious.
You know what? I love those with sushi.
Oh my gosh. That actually sounds really good.
Yeah.
All right. Scratch the Arby's.
We're high class bitches now.
That sounds so good. But yeah, I do have to get off of. I've been pretty good. I haven't had a vodka Red Bull in a while, but the last time I had a vodka Red Bull, this is actually a terrible story about me, but a man offered me. Okay, I want to preface by saying I was blackout. I was black. I don't.
Sure.
This was secondhand told to me. But a man was like, for $200, let me see your tits.
Did you do it?
I did, but I didn't. So I was like, give me the money.
Facts.
I said, give me the money first.
Yes.
And apparently he was like, show me in my car. I almost got kidnapped. My friends literally had to pull me out of the car. But I got the money and I didn't flash him.
That's called game. That's called game. Put them on, Jaws.
But I was yelled at by all my friends after. They were like, you're a fucking idiot. And I was like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the in the car is...
Yeah. In the car is crazy. And also what was making it worse is I was so drunk, I was laughing. And like my friends were like crying.
The wounded zebra.
I know. Wait, what?
Wounded zebra.
What's that?
That's men who go after drunk or visibly intoxicated women.
Oh.
So like they don't actually hunt. They go for the sick zebra.
Yeah. I got it. And after that, I like told myself, I was like, I was like, I gotta reel it in. I can't get... And that was on like a Sunday night.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, hey, you woke up with 200 bones, right?
I did. And I think I bought some new clothes. So
I had a girl.
Yeah. But I was like, I am never... Yeah, that was bad.
We learned a lesson.
I don't have like crazy story. That was like probably my first like blackout story.
Oh.
Where I was like, okay, that was actually crazy. But I don't like get insane like that.
Well, that's good. It's a good feature.
But
especially you're pretty young. You got a lot of life
left. Do have time. Yeah. I do. I get messy on the phone. I'm loose with the texts. I'm loose. I'm letting it rip.
Yeah, I used to give this is back when you could take out your cell phone batteries, and like if I knew we were going to go drinking, I would give to my only friend that I knew I couldn't wrestle it away from, I would have her hold my battery for my phone.
All right. I got to switch phones so I can have a cell phone battery. I'm a menace. I'm a menace.
I believe it.
Because it's like, I get like, and honestly, I don't even have to be that drunk. There's just something about a drink where I'm like more confident. Sure. And I'm like, what's the worst?
Do you have like a text that's sticking out in your mind that was...
Multiple. This has been, I don't know. Multiple texts that are like, that it's like the follow-up text is like, text me tomorrow when you're okay. Yeah. And then I'm like, all right, well.
That's like, yeah. I don't appreciate being adult right now. I'm being so unhinged and crazy.
But also it's like, if I get a drunk text from someone, I'm always like, I'm flattered. Like, thank you.
Because you're like, I was in your subconscious,
yeah,
bro.
You knew you were going to send this text.
Yeah.
You waited until, and then now it's happening. Thank you.
Look at me popping up the second you got a buzz on.
Yep. And then, like, I don't hear back from them for the rest of the night because they're, like, severely drunk, actually. They're, like,
they can't unlock their phone anymore.
No. The first time I ever got, like, insanely, like, drunk, I was actually by myself. I had no gauge on what, like, I was in high school and I had one of my friends, I was going to have a party. And so I had one of my friends buy a bunch of alcohol for me. Mm-hmm. And, like, the night before the party, my parents were gone. And I just was like, well, I need to see where my limits are. And I tested my limits with Four Locos.
No.
And Fireball. I think I had 4 shots of Fireball and a gold Four Loco.
Oh, wow.
Gold.
That was,
and if you drink Four Locos, you know that's the worst flavor.
And Four Locos were taking people out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was
What happened to you?
I threw up. I was actually FaceTiming my best friend, and she was like cheering me on. She was like, go take those shots. And then I was like, at the end of our conversation, I'm laying on the floor and I'm like, Taylor, this is not good. So then this is actually so fucking humiliating. I was talking to like this guy who was like pretty popular. He's like on the football team. And we had been texting, and he calls me as I'm like yakking. So he hears me like throwing up. He's on the phone.
You answered.
Yeah. Cause like in my, I don't know why I trusted this guy to like be respectful. But then like, the next day, everyone was like, yeah, Brayden told us you were like throwing up.
Oh,
like,
Brayden, you piece of shit.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you. You weren't even that good on the field. You just had charisma. That's all.
And he's probably still reliving those high school football days.
He peaked. He absolutely peaked. But like, so did I, honestly.
No, absolutely not.
Okay,
I refuse to believe that.
Never mind. Maybe I didn't. But like, I do, when I look back, I'm like, all right, maybe I did.
No.
Okay,
I refuse to believe that.
Okay.
It's a very specific type of person that peaked in high school. Usually they get married directly after college. They move to the suburbs. And they cheat on their wives like mid-30s after 2 kids. And they're divorced by 42, back in the bar, trying to hit on you and telling their woes for a $2 tip.
I've met that man.
Yeah, they're all over Omaha. This is Omaha's bread and butter.
I will say that was almost me, because I like had met my one of my first boyfriends when I was a senior. He was like 22, 23.
Okay.
And in the military. Mm-hmm. He was about to get stationed in Japan. He was like, let's do it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I was about to follow him. I was like, Mom, I'm studying abroad. She's like, where the fuck are you? I'm like, I'm going to Japan.
Not gonna lie, I would love to go to Japan, but I'm glad that you escaped this fate.
Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah, it was...
Isn't there a thing in the military, too, where they have to get permission to get married because there's such a high rate of getting married and divorce among... cadets.
That could be.
They're called.
I wish that was a thing, because half the people that get married that are in the military should not be married. The Air Force, I feel like, has the most like domestic abuse like issues.
The armed forces are so messy.
It's so messy because men in the military are toxic. I come from a military family. Everyone is toxic.
I believe you.
Because it's like when they take you to boot camp, you're this person, right? And then they break you down and rebuild you into a monster.
You know, this is a story about my dad that I love. So he got drafted into the Vietnam War like 3 months after he graduated college. He was the first person in his family to graduate college. Mm-hmm. Drafted into the Vietnam War, which is 86ing motherfuckers left and right. And he decides to go into officer school, which I guess is an additional intense level of training. And he got hurt about 3/4 of the way through his training and had to take a week off. And they told him he was going to have to restart training. He refused, and so they sent him to Vietnam, and they assigned him to, I'm going to not know the exact parallel, but it was like famous parallel, like the 42nd parallel, let's just say for this, where it was like an 87% casualty rate.
Oh, wow.
So they basically sentenced him to death for not complying.
Wow.
Yeah, and he broke up with my mom because he's like, I'm coming back in a body bag, and goes to Vietnam, and he says there's this man who worked in the office there, and he looks at his orders and how severely his orders has changed and was like, you must have really pissed someone off. And he was like, I did. And he asked him, he's like, well, can you type? And my dad's like, of course, like the wind. Put me in, coach. So he rerouted his orders, and then like lightweight came to like pull this story out of my dad that he changed several people's orders in the Vietnam War to like reroute them to safer places.
Oh, wow.
And then that officer, he was a black man. When it came time for him to get discharged, right, he was supposed to go to the middle of nowhere, Texas, not the great place for a black man.
Yeah.
And my dad stayed up all night changing his orders so he could go back to Fort Bennington, Georgia.
That's nice. Wow. I mean, that's like a hero story. They should make a little movie about your dad.
Yeah, I think he's passed now, and most of those people are died from Agent Orange or suicide. So
Agent Orange.
And you didn't really have computers tracking you in the way back then. Like, I don't know. Yeah. To me, that like also harkens back to like a romantic time where like you had the chance to run from the cops or be a pirate. You know?
Have you run from the cops before?
I tried.
Yeah, unsuccessful.
One time I was successful. I did some dukes of, like I'm telling you, when I get into a stressful situation, I found some pleasing things about myself. Is that most of the time I don't panic, you know? I go into shark mode. And we were doing a little bit of graffiti, and it was the post 9/11 era, and these bros came out of the bar and they were furious about it. And they narked us out to a cop who was sitting right away, who gets in his car. And I jumped into the driver's seat, and my friend got in, and we reversed backwards all the way down the alley. And I like fishtailed out, and we took off. And that was the one consequence I never had. That one worked.
The other time, no good.
No. Yeah, I was arrested.
Yep. Damn.
It's okay.
It's okay.
She survived. She survived.
Look, she's here now, not in jail. We love to see it.
I hope to never go back.
To jail? You went to jail?
Yes.
Oh, for how long?
Oh, just overnight.
That's still too much time.
Yeah, I was also arrested very recently. Well, let's say 5 years. In the last
You said very recently. I was like, what happened?
Well, it felt recently to me. I was building out tiny house. I had 3 jobs at the time.
Damn.
And she was a busy girl. She was very stressed. And my boyfriend had come and gotten me, and we pulled into my garage, and this cop shows up, and like, my mantra has always been, never will I ever fuck a cop, which is a dangerous thing to say to the universe because you know they're about to send you the world's hottest cop. And he was like, are you Megan Malone? And I was like, yes. And he was like, well, I have a warrant for your arrest. And I was like, for what, sir? And like months prior, I had gone to pick up a friend who was drunk at the bar in a car that was uninsured because my other car was in the shop doing a mitzvah, right? Yeah. And I got pulled over, got a ticket, and I went to pay it. I pled guilty, like, you got me.
Yeah.
And their machine was down, so I paid half in cash with all the cash I had, and they're like, we'll send you the bill. Whatever happened, I never got the bill, so I had a remaining balance of $37. So the Omaha Police Department sat outside of my house, apparently, for like multiple days. They were checking on me, and then put me in cuffs in front of my neighbors and took me to jail for $37.
That's absolutely insane.
And I was like, can I just pay you?
Like,
and he goes, I'm not a bill collector. And I was like, aren't you though? Like, what is happening right now?
You're like, technically.
And when they were photographing me, the lady was like, if it makes you feel better, this isn't the cheapest fine we've arrested someone for. I was like, why would that make me feel better? You sociopath. And I said, just out of curiosity, what was it? $7.
That's crazy.
$7. Anyway.
Thank you. It's so good
ACAB.
To know. Yeah. Yep. It's funny because I had on here, I wanted to ask you what your death row meal was. So now we're talking about.
That's a good question.
Yeah. I've been seeing it a lot, and like some people, I feel like, I don't know, like I think Post Malone, I saw his death row meal and I respected it. But it is a good question.
So when you said that, I was like fried chicken, mashed potatoes, cornbread, greens.
Southern food.
Yes, which I have a big soft spot for. And then my second thought was very high-end sushi. Like I want a chef's tasting, like omakase. Like I think I want to go to the grave a little lighter than fried chicken in my belly.
Oh, yeah. I'm eating until I'm sick. I'm taking like breaks in between.
Throwing up, maybe.
Yeah. They're like, does this bitch have a binge eating disorder? Like, does not matter now.
I can't think of any worse fate than in prison for the rest of your life, and then being put to death by the government. I'm fully anti the.
I'm anti-death row. The death penalty. That was like one of my papers in college was against Pete Ricketts because. The Pete Ricketts lore goes so crazy. His family owns the Chicago Cubs stadium, and they're fucking loaded.
We have a secret drink that was on the menu for a while called the Fuck Pete Ricketts at Tiny House Bar, and we made Fuck Pete Ricketts stickers. He is actually a sociopath because he illegally obtained drugs to put death row prisoners to death. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because also people will say that the lethal injection is the better route, and I'm like. No, if you look up what the lethal injection does to people, it paralyzes them. They can't move. Someone said that it was simulated the feeling of drowning. Just ugh. Yeah.
And you're in the most sterile and just what an awful way to die.
Yeah.
God willing.
Yeah. And it's I think life in prison is enough for.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, yeah. I
If you had life in prison, where would you try to get in for your job?
For like my job?
Yeah, because you're like, okay, I got to make the best of this. I'm healthy. I got 40, 50 years in this in the pen.
Honestly, do prisons have libraries? Are they?
Yes,
they do.
Yeah.
I would probably get into a library. I think I would try to. I don't read now. I should read, but I think I would get into books. Try to start I can't say the word.
Philosophizing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
become unsufferable.
I'd become an incel.
No, honestly. I like that. I would think I'd try to split my time between the kitchen because I think you're getting extra snacks.
Yes, the kitchen for sure.
Definitely the library. I
think the kitchen just seems like a better vibe too. Like I'm sure it gets chaotic and there's times, but I feel like it'd be more playful. Mm-hmm. I'm also just thinking of Orange is the New Black, like
right
where were the ha-has had? Where were people laughing it up?
Yeah. So is your death row meal Southern food?
Probably. I also do like a pizza. Mm-hmm. I always go for a pizza, but God, I'm kind of... Maybe it's Arby's, honestly. We were talking about it. An Arby's chicken sandwich.
We can go do that right now.
Grace,
okay, you're on death row. Back. What are you on death row for?
Harassment. Stalking. Yes. They're like, you've sent one too many emails to your ex. You need to die now.
Okay, I know what I think I'm on death row for. What do you think I'm on death row for?
Vandalism. Or I think that you're in a rogue fight.
Yes.
Yeah, I think like a rogue, like a parking lot fight maybe.
Maybe. Or like I bombed a power plant because I went full psychosis.
Wow.
Like...
I mean, maybe
Kaczynski vibes.
I could see myself joining that.
Yeah.
That ploy with you. I think we've had psychosis together already.
Facts. No, that is facts.
I think back to the time, when I had psychosis in your house, and I'm like, how did she understand the thing I was saying? I felt like we were on the same level too. I was out of my mind, but I still was like, she gets it.
Yeah, no, I did get it because I had scheduled a psychotic breakdown for those 2 days, which is not how psychotic breaks work. And then Joslyne was like, can I come over right now? And I was like, yes, of course. But you have to understand that I had gone through a breakup, but was also laser focused on my first headlining set at the Storm Cellar.
Yes.
So when you go into my house, it's very much Charlie Day from Always Sunny in the Philadelphia, like with the red map and the lines. Literally. I bought scrolls of paper during the pandemic that I never used. So there's like, oh, she's writing scrolls. She's Moses. She's insane. Yeah. And so I'm like practicing bits, rewriting sets. And then the set went very well. I was really happy with it. And then I was like, I can unwind now. I can totally unleash the beast. And I had like the way that my depression manifests is like, I won't take care of myself necessarily. So like it will be outward very fine. But my house was messy. And again, we've mentioned Joslyne as a military brat. I won't say it, but like I came into my house and she was just like sort of staring like this. And she's like, don't like take this wrong, but can I clean your house? Like, look, listen, it is not always. And then like she stayed for like, and throughout the day I would just catch her kind of like a Roomba in a corner just being like, my most favorite people have had messy homes. I'm like, look, okay, look, or like
I told you, I think the most creative people are messy.
Yeah, she got me multiple times throughout the day. And then I was just like, at the end of the night, I always clean my kitchen before I go to sleep. And she was just looking at me with pity in her eyes. And she just goes, you don't have to do this for me. It's like, Joslyne, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I swear to God.
You're like, this is for me.
It was funny.
That's funny. Yeah. And then
happy to be there.
Yeah. I was in the psych ward like the next day. So
I sent her over the edge.
Yeah. Your house alone put me.
Yeah.
That's funny. And your dog. who I was actively speaking to and I thought was going to speak back to me. I was like, literally, I don't know. Oh my gosh. And another thing that makes me laugh is that a vivid moment in my psychosis that I remember is being in your shower and thinking that the shampoo bottles were talking to me. So I was talking back and I was talking in the shower. And then,
I thought you were on the phone.
No.
And well, I was just like, okay, being on the phone in the shower is unhinged. But I'm very like a mind your own business bitch. I was just like, whatever she needs to do. But it was the shampoo bottles that were chapping, right? Yep. Flapping their gums at you. What'd they say?
Do you want to know?
More than anything, because their lips are sealed to me.
It was all stuff about just me becoming the next Messiah. So, wow. I know. I'm telling you, it was bad. It was bad. And then, like, I was like, when I got out of the shower, I saw you, and I was like, oh, that was between me and the Lord. So, she shouldn't have heard that. But yeah, and then it made me laugh. And then I go downstairs to watch New Girl on your Hulu, on your TV, and I didn't know the Hulu login, so I just left.
Yeah.
I drove back to Lincoln.
She was like, this has been great, Megan, but I must watch New Girl, and if you can't manifest this Hulu password, I'm out. I'm gone. And I was just like, call me when you get there, I think.
Yeah, and then I actually called 911 instead, so. But I'm glad I could spend those moments with you.
We had a double cheeseburger and watched Mae Martin's new special, and that was fun.
That was very fun.
Yeah.
But also I was like, what's happening? But the cheeseburger, that honestly, I don't think I'd eaten that day, and that it hit. That was my death row meal, honestly.
Also, I do have to mention that. So I was, like I mentioned, also very much looking forward to my depressive, relaxed day, and you went to go see Lauren do improv for the first time. I think I had a show too. And
you did. Yeah.
And we met back at my place, and I put on J-Lo's new action movie. And Joslyne came in. I went and let her in upstairs, and then she's like, "Well, what are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm watching J-Lo's new movie." And the look on her face, like she was very embarrassed for me, and she was just like, "Oh." Like, I can't watch that. I
sound like a terrible person.
Watch that. And I was just like, okay, all right, well, what do you want to watch? And then we did find the Mae Martin special, but I was just like, look, this isn't something that I'm going to write a thesis on. I'm going to scroll on my phone and eat my cheeseburger. But
don't you like how I come into your house?
She was a boss. She's a boss everywhere she goes.
When I'm in psychosis, I am telling people how I feel. I'm letting people know.
Which I think is good. It's kind of like when the week before your period where yes, you do rage out, but some of the things need to be said. Yeah. Don't you find that?
Yes. It's like I've had this inside of me. Mm-hmm. And now that I'm bleeding, I can let you know about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We have, he's not even a friend, but we have Carter Heights writing questions in for...
Oh, Lord.
For Just Jossin Around, and I'm going to read them to you.
Let's hear them.
Carter Heights. Jeez Louise. Also, spell check. You know, that's so important, Carter.
I would say that to all comedians.
Yes.
Let's just try it. Let's run it through.
Yep.
And the amount of, everyone makes a mistake. We're not here. Grammarians misunderstand the function of language, but sometimes your text is unintelligible because you cannot spell.
He said, what's your gauge for a crowd? Gauge is spelled Gaje. So, just something to think about.
Okay.
What's your gauge for a crowd? How do you read them to determine what they will like their sensitivity level? So he's wanting to know what crowds can he do his abortion jokes in front of.
He has so much experience with abortion. I just don't know why he's not confident in it. I've asked Carter point blank how many fetuses he's ever had on the line, and the answer is 0. So my advice to male comics, straight white male comics, is to stop mining women and queer experiences for material. It comes off unauthentic, and you lose the crowd.
You do.
So if you have nothing to talk about, like go absurd.
Yeah.
I have a whole rant I just wrote about monarch butterflies. You
don't have to go, yeah.
It's just a cheap way to get laughs and reacts, and I don't think it authentically builds connection. I was talking to Lauren about this because we had a show Sunday, and I feel like I'm working on, I feel like very confident in my material talking about my brother with Down syndrome, but people want them in a very protected space where they're not really discussed, which I don't think is very human. They like can sit on the shelf and like feel good about them when they give them, you know, $5 or whatever. But, you know, it becomes a room splitter for some people. And often the people who like have relatives or they work in special needs, they're just like, I loved it. I loved being able to have an open discussion about it. But I think that when you're going to choose controversial material, you better have a fresh perspective or some direct experience. And I mean, you know, that's just what I see. I mean, it was a string of straight white male comics telling abortion jokes. And, you know, it's definitely something that can be considered from a male perspective, but it was like I can tell you sound like a virgin.
Yeah, they really do. They show like how few people they've actually been in that situation with. Because like, yeah, I don't know. I'm on the fritz with the straight white comedians in our scene right now.
Yeah, they're bad. I mean, it's just very unaware. And I would just like to say I have something that's been grinding my gears. Yeah, it's you know, talking about queer experiences when they're not your experiences. But then also, I'm a writer comic, which not all comics are, you know. But stop coming and setting up your tripod for this open mic when you have not written a new way into this joke since Pride Month.
Literally.
Right, it's June, and you're still being like, remember Pride Month? Yeah. It's like, what are you videotaping this for? Like, right, if you have, like, that should be the skill that you're working on, is either writing a new entry into the joke or figuring out a new entry. And it's like, you know, when you're stringing together sets, like, you'll find new connectors or this and that. And so in other scenes, these men would be shamed out more.
I mean, after going to Des Moines, and then there was a comic, Maddie, I was talking to from Kansas City. It's just like, this isn't really, I feel like it just festers here.
Absolutely. And I mean, that's what the feedback that, you know, even Tyler was telling me. He's like, you go to Des Moines, go to Denver, go to Portland. It's those people just don't get even, they get bumped at mics. And just ain't nobody trying to hear it.
It's just so funny because there is one comic I'm thinking of specifically who in Des Moines, like, it was like they, one of the head people there was like getting them, I guess, a shadow banned, but then all the bookers were like, who is this guy? Like, it's the irrelevancy as well of, these people. But
and I think it was a Mark Maron clip that it was like, these men, they're the loudest about cancel culture. And I'm sorry, I don't think cancel culture exists. I don't see men having consequences. Like Dave Chappelle selling out theaters, right? Selling out auditoriums. Louis C.K. just got a Grammy. Bill Cosby's out of jail. Yeah. You know, will something happen to Russell Brand? Maybe. But these are like, you have to have a stack of evidence this high. And there's so many levels of creepy in between there. But Mark Maron's quote was, he's like, they just want to say the same three slurs. Like, they're just like, why can't I say? And it's like, are you a writer? Can't you write around this? You just want to be like, it's my right to say retard.
Literally. And like, it's what has really annoyed me with comics that I've interacted with is like, when they've told me that that's like the point, like, oh, I wrote this joke so I can say this and so I can get away. And that's where I'm like, that's psychotic almost, like, to do comedy with like that motive of, I want to say the things I can't say.
And I think it shows through the joke and you don't connect with the audience. And
they see it. Yeah, they see it. But we need to have like a controlled burn of comedians in Omaha.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, after doing comedy in Denver, Portland, and around Portland, I was just like, wow, a scene that's actively seeking female comics and promoting them and putting them on shows, especially when you're talking about off the beaten path material. It just made me feel very depressed, dead ass coming back here, because, you know, it's still one woman per show. You know, they oftentimes, it's just frustrating. I mean, it's just not there's so many, the confidence. I used to say this when I was too nervous to get up on stage. It's like, dear Lord, give me the confidence of a mediocre white man.
That's a good prayer.
It's unparalleled.
But it just, and I'm not even saying this like I do feel like the women in our scene are just light years ahead of, like, I feel like what I hear like us talk about and our stories are just so much better than what, like, I don't know, than what the average mediocre white male is bringing to the table. And
I feel the same way. I mean, and Lauren and I were talking about this as well, because she was like, you know, before I did stand up, I thought about it for 4 years. And it was like facts. And when I was little, I used to lay in my basement while all the kids were going swimming and watch hours of stand up. And it's just like, you know, the women I think are prepared. They're thoughtful. They don't get up there and just wing it in general. They write a lot. They try new things. They put themselves out there. And I'm always more impressed with their material and their performances.
And I feel like it's so much harder too for like, I feel bad for like new female comedians because like I feel like a new male comic will come on and then like immediately he's like praised for just shitty material, and then you have a girl that will come and she's trying new material every week. She's like really working hard, and it's like is not even looked at twice. And so we need to do better.
Yeah, and women don't gas themselves up in the same way that men do. I mean, if there was a year-in-ish comic who's a male who is doing, like, Joslyne's doing great, you know, works a ton. People book her all the time. She's got a cool podcast, you know, gets along with everyone. They would be gassing themselves up all of the time. You see them bomb an open mic set and then go out and like high five everybody's like crushed it,
so
crushed
crazy.
It, and a woman will go and get laughs throughout. And just be like, oh, I don't know, this thing didn't work.
Like critical because it's just you want to be at your best,
right?
But so hope that answers your question, Carter Heights.
I would rather listen to Carter Heights' weird swimming jokes.
Yeah,
personally.
Oh yeah, I agree. More of those. He says though, in the same vein. How do you know a bad audience versus you just having a bad night? I do kind of. I might answer this
Go ahead.
Yeah, because I don't know. I feel like I never blame the audience. But if I see everyone else, especially like good comics that I know I see crush like regularly, like there was literally the one night at Laughter Hours when Lauren was hosting, and I saw their response, and I literally was like, "Oh, I'm fucked." Like if they didn't like, and then like it was. I think they kind of got better as the night went on, but it was that crowd where I was like, if they didn't like her, like it's that this crowd sucks.
I think the crowd get blamed way too often.
Yeah,
but that crowd. Yeah, because Lauren's super funny. And especially when I see a comic's jokes that are reliable hitters, not hitting.
Yeah.
And Lauren and I went back to back at a bar show, which it's always a roll of the dice, right? Because maybe some people are there for comedy, and it was a mixed mic.
Yeah.
And Lauren did well, you know, but between our sets, the host did a raffle. Which the entire audience used as a chance to like get up and move and leave. And then by the time they reconvened, I was halfway through my set, which like there's some dark jokes in there. And if you're not there with the beginning or you missed that I have a brother with special needs, then it just seems like
Yep.
So
I can see that. Yeah.
And to me though, when I go home, I went home and I actually watched all Michelle's Wolf special.
I just saw that. Yeah, I need to watch it.
So funny. And I was just like, that's my fault. Like, I think I should have maybe done some crowd work while the crowd resettled.
Yeah.
You know, I should have waited to go into my material. I think if I hadn't just adrenaline dumped jumping out of a plane, I would have been better at that.
Yeah, you had done that in the same day.
But, you know, ultimately, maybe this is also being a woman. I take more of the responsibility onto myself because I've seen really good comics completely turn a room, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
From bad to good, so.
But it always disappoints me, too, when, like, I just yelled at a comedian recently because, like, their material, it was at, like, an open mic. Yeah. Their material literally was just, like, it was so racist. It was crazy. And I've seen them walk crowds before and then just be like, they can't handle it. And I'm like, no, you can't handle the fact that, like, you're... And not only does the joke suck, it's literally just offensive. Like, I don't know.
Right. And you can say whatever you want, but there will be consequences. And
I know. And I remember, him saying to me, like, first of all, he asked for my opinion, which... he wanted to know, like, did it go too far? So then I started to give him my opinion, and then he said, if you have sound advice, I'll hear it, but if it's just your opinion, I'm good. I'm like...
Which
breaths.
is just like the you're too emotional.
Oh yeah, he told me I was
comics.
talking like how I normally talk, and he was like, "You're yelling," and I was like, "I can't believe this is happening right now."
Which is, I feel like women get cornered more for feedback on bits. I feel like we're expected to do sort of the emotional labor that women do anyway for these male comics who have fragile egos. So they corner you, they ask you for feedback, they try to workshop bits, which is work.
Yeah.
Like, this is work people get, and then they, there's a thing where if women talk more than 30% of a conversation, they're like perceived as dominating it. Also, our levels of tone, like if you're speaking like this, I've gotten it before. So why are you so upset?
I'm like,
it's just all like,
I'm talking. Even though I will say I love like your energy when we are in a group of men, because like you are a head bitch in charge.
Thank you.
I like you hold yourself very well, whereas like I feel like I'm trying to be more assertive with like, I don't know, because you have like this wall around you where no one's going to fuck with you, or no one's going to say, at least that I've seen, like offhand shit to you in a group. Whereas I don't know, I feel like I give off prey.
I think it's just a difference in age and experience, and just having dealt with this bullshit for a long time. And I definitely like have a frosty demeanor with men intentionally, because like the amount of out of pocket shit that's been said to me.
Yeah.
But I also do enjoy calling them out for their shit, because they're so confident in it. And, let me play devil's advocate. Like,
oh my God. That made me laugh so hard.
Like, just what the world needs. Another straight man playing devil advocate. Like, if I never had to. But I will say, the first time I was hosting the backline mic, a comic came up after me and was like, she sucks. Let's get her boyfriend out here to do better.
No way.
Yes. And I went directly to that person afterwards, and I was like, you don't want this smoke.
Wow.
You don't want this smoke because you don't think I know Chris Rock's bits that you're doing at showcases and pretending them yours. Like, you want me to go up there and call you out as a joke biter, or do you want to get your game?
Damn.
And that person has never treated me incorrectly since, but that I was just like, we won't be having this. You're not going to come out at me left on stage and have us be cool.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to like just set boundaries. Be like, you just can't treat me any way you feel like.
Yeah.
Because if you let them, if you give a mouse a cookie, then pretty soon you're drugged and raped in their trunk.
That is true.
Sorry.
No, it's true. And I don't know. I feel like with me, I struggle with the boundaries, because I feel like anytime I've tried to set a boundary, it's like immediately like, whoa. And I'm being perceived as like a bitch. But maybe being a bitch is cool. Maybe I'll be a bitch.
I think you'll find people who meet you at your level and are like, yeah, these incel comics ain't shit. And you're going to maybe move out of this scene one day and be like, the PTSD is real. But
I know. After like literally a breath of fresh air from Des Moines, I'm like, okay, maybe I just should start booking more out of town, and then coming back to Omaha when I have the gigs and am doing stuff here, but like not putting all my eggs in a basket here.
I firmly believe that. And the connections that I made on that brief 6-week tour, like I have booked comics that are, have several TV appearances, go to Just for Laughs, shoot their own specials that are coming now to Omaha because they know there's a spot in Omaha, but also opening up places for me. And I said that to, I would definitely recommend it. I think just get out there because...
Slowly and surely we'll make our way out.
Yes.
We are rounding down the episode. Is there things you want to plug? What's going on? Where can people find you? What shows are you on? Etc.
Oh, you know what? I'm really excited to go to. So this just cropped up. I think I'm going to drive to the Highlands. So it's the Highlands Comedy Fest in Denver.
Oh, sick. Okay, yeah.
And I firmly believe that if you can't get in, volunteer. So I volunteered to be a transportation driver, like the easiest volunteer job I could get.
Yeah.
And then I got an email, and I checked the list, and I was like, I'm not on it, but you get free weekend pass, and it's just like everybody is on this show, right? It's where I want to end up. And it was like, Megan, you need to be in Denver on Thursday and pick up Amy Miller and a couple other comics from the airport. Totally randomly assigned to pick up Amy Miller. And she screenshot it and sent it to me. That was the comic that I did all the shows with him for. So I was just
awesome.
This feels like kismet. This feels like I need to go. And then I think that it'll just be like a super fun. So I'm going to go to Highlands, and then Sunday, I'm at the Renwick Mansion.
That's so exciting.
Davenport.
I really want to do that.
That has been bucket list for me. So it's supposedly haunted, which a lot of people don't take seriously, but she was raised Catholic. And so where some people see like maybe there's a headless horseman going to appear through, I'm like, there's a genuine chance of possession.
Yes. I can't wait. We might have to have you back to rehash.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to both of those things. And then we have our laughter hours next Saturday.
Yes. And Carmela Anderson will be headlining, and I'll be hosting.
I told Carmela I think she should just go by Carmela.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think she needs a last name.
I don't think so. I like that. Yeah. Carmela. That's awesome. Yeah. Do you want to plug your socials? People can follow you?
Yes. So my Instagram is Megan Malone, MEGGGAN, MALLLONE. And the reason is there's a somewhat famous porn star who I won't say we look alike, but the resemblance was enough that I was getting questioned in professional meetings where you're like, oh, you definitely Googled me and was like, is she driving a 99 Honda Civic and a working sex worker? Like, I would hope I would be in an Audi at least. So she has 2 G's and 2 L's. So if you're looking for me, it's 3 G's and 3 L's. I post my shows there and then like idiot shit I do on social media.
That's beautiful. Yeah, your TikTok is really funny. I love your TikTok.
I love your TikTok.
Yeah, both I could say are somewhat unhinged, but they're great. I feel like, they display it. I feel like that does more for me than like posting a stand-up clip. I'm like,
well, and it's just hard. It's hard to be like, I have to be a video artist now.
Yeah.
Like, I really, truly just want to do stand-up. But like, people will say if you don't post stand-up clips, you don't have stand-up jokes. But it's like, I don't know that I want to burn a joke I've been writing for 2 years and performing on a 30-second clip that's going to maybe, I don't know.
I agree with you. I agree completely. If you're listening, please interact with the Instagram account and send questions and stuff so we can ask. Not just Carter Heights.
Carter, we see you out there working.
Even though if I ever make like Just Jossin merch, I'll let him model for it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's enough.
Is the merch a visor? It would be good.
And
he would be a good visor model.
He would be a good visor model. I'm thinking men's crop tops.
Yeah, that was like I definitely had young men who were working for me a couple years ago who were like got very into the crop top scene, and I was like, work, we love it.
I do like it.
I'm also a big fan of men wearing pearls. I don't know if you've seen that lately. Oh my gosh,
yeah, this is actually, I don't know if this is whatever. My dad went to a coffee shop that my ex was working at. My ex was wearing pearls, and my dad, I guess, was with the rest of my family, and he turned and was like, is that Joslyne's ex? And they were like, yes. And he was like, is he gay now? I'm like, because of the pearls. And I feel bad, but I think pearls look nice.
I do. When a very masked man is wearing pearls, and I've seen gay men wear them and look great. I don't know. I'm like, I like this boundary crossing thing that you're doing.
My dad just has
it gives confidence. It gives but as a military man, I can imagine that is not.
Oh my gosh. And I think his nails were painted too. My dad was like, what is Joslyne into? Wait until he finds out what I'm actually into. Okay. That's a good place to end.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always a super blast. I'm so happy to be here. I'm proud of you, Joslyne.
Thank you, Megan. I'm proud of you, too.
God.
You're working so hard.
I think we take a moment to appreciate everyone's nails today.
Yes.
Everyone has their nails done.